Hey everyone, have a here, bro. On Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. In this video, we are finally getting the Dokkan Festival exclusive EZA to the AGL PAIKUHAN and TEQ Janemba, and I'm here to give you my initial thoughts. So with that, if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, comment below, do all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and dive right in. And of course, this information dropped early in the morning for me. I think it was like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Fast asleep there, so that's why I'm bringing you this information now. I know I'm always a little late to this, but hopefully you guys get some insights to what my thoughts are on these units. And I'll tell you what, these are two units that we expected to EZA last year, and one of the older units that we have in terms of not EZAing in Dokkan Festival exclusives. There are a few older ones, but at least we got these now EZA'd. So it seems like both of these units, my initial thoughts after just kind of taking a quick glance at it, is just it's going to be support type units that they're Dokkan Festival exclusive EZAs that you can run, but they're not going to be very like super dominant, right? They're not really first position units. They're going to be floater support type units. Again, that's what it seems like. We'll find out when we can actually use them. I'll go ahead and make this bigger. So of course we are seeing a lot more of these Dokkan Festival exclusive EZAs having the 180% category boost, and that does have a secondary leader skill of superclass at 130. And this is actually pretty nice if you're going to be running for example, a mono class for Battlefield, right? So we're always looking for those types of units, but more and more now you can run category teams that are mono, and it's going to be a lot stronger than just 130%. But a Connected Hope at 180, it's going to be very interesting. We'll talk a little bit about the units that you can run. But Connected Hope is fairly strong currently right now. Now the super attack is greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, causes mass damage to enemy. Link skills are fine, I guess, but let's look at the passive skill. This is what's the most important thing in terms of the EZA. Stats are pretty decent, by the way. Attack and defense 200%, kind of a standard what we're seeing now these days. High chance of evading enemies' attacks, so just like it was before EZA, this was more of a dodging type unit. So that's a 50% there. Superclass allies key +2 attack and defense 30%. So any superclass, that's going to be a nice build. So that's just the base effects there. For 7 turns from the character's entry turn, 200% to defense and guard all attacks. So here's where it's very interesting. In the first 7 turns, it can probably be on main rotation sometimes and not have an issue, being that it's going to have a huge boost in defense and guarding ability. No damage mitigation, but you still have that dodge mechanic on here. So for every 3 or more key sphere obtained, Otherworld Warriors or Connected Hope category allies, additional 30%. You know, making this team closer to like a 200% than it is just a 180, right? So if you're running a full Connected Hope, you have 2 of these on here. Generally, it's going to be on rotation for a floater. Units are going to be probably pretty solid, right? So then launches additional attack has a great chance of becoming a super attack. This is going to help out when in terms of being a floater and a support unit. You're going to have, you know, ability to boost up these stats here, and then 1 or more rainbow key sphere obtained. So 3. So this is where it gets a little tricky here. 3 type key spheres and then 1 rainbow key sphere. You're going to get additional key +4. Chance of evading enemies attack 20%, so that makes it a great chance there, and then seals enemies super attack for 2 turns. So if they were able to be sealed, that's a nice effect there. And then when attacking with 12 or more key sphere, or 12 or more key, which is 12 to max, attack and defense an additional 200%. So all in all, solid, right? There's really not a huge issue. Make sure you get another rainbow key sphere so you can have that great chance of dodging. But for the first 7 turns, even if you get hit, you might be okay. Super attacks aside, right? Especially on the high end level on there. But again, if you're a floater, this is a pretty solid unit as a floater, and it's going to be interesting when you start doing the team builds for Connected Hope. Can that Connected Hope team be viable with 2 PAIKUHANs on the team there? Well, that's something that we can discuss right here, and that's looking at the LRs that are available on Connected Hope, and there's pretty good ones, right? So you can run, of course, Beast Gohan in first position. You could possibly run Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks in first position, or, you know, in certain cases you can run LRGGT. When you transform into Piccolo, you're fine here. Of course, you have Gogeta, which is an incredible unit. So yeah, it's interesting. This is a very interesting team. There are, of course, some TURs that you can run, some EZA TURs you can run here as well. But I'm just kind of looking here at the LRs. I'll do a full team build and breakdown video when it all comes out. But there's going to be some interesting options that we were able to do. Hopefully this unit EZAs, right? If this unit EZAs and possibly be a first position unit, then we got ourselves a very interesting team. So all in all, I think this could be a viable 180%. Because you have that ability to support with basically 60% boost if you're running Superclass and you're running Connected Hope. But that's where the tricky part is. 3 or more type key spheres and then 1 or more rainbow key spheres. If this was like rainbow orb changing, that would be incredible. But anyway, so that is PAIKUHAN. Let's go ahead and take a look at Janemba, which is in a sense similar to what you want for a support unit. Let's go ahead and make this bigger here. So just like PAIKUHAN, you have 180% category lead, but the lead in the category isn't very good. Corroded Body of Mind, you just basically have Janemba, and that's pretty much about it. And then you have Extreme Class at 130. Yeah, they really need to help out Corroded Body of Mind. It's a really rough category by itself, right? If you combine it with another team, you're okay, but yeah. So the super attack here, you have the ability to stack attack and then raise defense for 1 turn. Big Bad Bosses is really the most important link that you have on this Janemba. And remember, this also has a transforming dynamic in terms of going into Super Janemba. So passive skill here, attack and defense 180%, a little bit lower than the PAIKUHAN, but you have a lot of interesting boosts here. Guard and damage reduction. That's huge, guys, right? So anytime you have guard and damage mitigation, and especially here at 50%, very strong. Extreme Class, allies, key +2 with 30, attack and defense 30%, which is great as well. Corroded Body of Mind, uncontrollable power. This is where this unit's probably going to be the most useful. But you already have other Janembas on that team, so it'll be interesting to see if this is going to be that great of a support unit on controllable power. And then category allies 30%, and then launches additional attack, has a great chance of super attack. Same thing if you have 3 or more type key sphere obtained, just like PAIKUHAN. Just like PAIKUHAN, 1 or more key sphere obtained, rainbow key sphere obtained, 150% to defense, and then damage mitigation 30%. So you have 80% damage mitigation, but for every attack received, you're going to increase your attack damage up to 100%, but you're also going to lose damage mitigation basically for no more than 50%. So you can lose this base effect here if you get hit 10 times. So once you get hit 10 times, you'll still have guard, you'll have more attack, but then you only have 30% damage mitigation. But again, for a support unit, if you're going to run this as a support unit, this is still very good. And if you're running on more of like a, short, like formidable foes, this is going to be great because this is going to reset every time you go to the next stage. So this is going to be fantastic for formidable foes. But maybe for the long events like Red Zone, you may find yourself in a sticky situation. Now, if you get hit 5 times, you can go ahead and become Super Janemba. So once this basically goes away here, the 50%, and you only have 30% damage mitigation, again, you still have guard and 30% as a floater unit. It's still pretty solid. Let's go ahead and move on to the Super Janemba. So what happens with Super Janemba is you don't stack anymore, right? Just greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, and you get some boosts everywhere else except for basically well, actually, let me take that back. You're getting boost in multiple different places, but you now have the ability to dodge, right? So you still have guard, you still have some damage mitigation, but then you're more or less relying on dodging than the damage mitigation and guard. So anyway, 200% to attack defense, randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to, wait a minute. So randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to any one type of key sphere. So just a random key sphere change. And then key sphere AGL to rainbow, and then guards all attacks, and then high chance of evading enemy attacks. So that's a 50% there. And then 3 or more keys to obtain, which is going to be a lot easier because of the warp changing. Attack and defense 100%, and then launches additional super attack, and then one or more rainbow keys to obtain, which is going to be a lot easier with this here. Chance of evading enemies attack 30%, so you don't have an 80% chance to dodge, with damage mitigation before getting an attack, and then guard. So it's not a dodge or die situation for this Janemba, which is really nice. And then after evading an attack, perform critical hit temporarily for the character's next attack, and then attack and defense 250% when you have 12 key or more, which is the max. So I think when you're ready to make the change, I think that's fine, given that you still keep guard. You'll have damage mitigation in terms of before getting the before receiving an attack within the turn, but then you have the ability for 80% dodge, which I think is just going to be better than just the guard and damage mitigation. But remember, you lose the support. That's something I did not mention in the Janemba, because you don't need to transform anywhere, right? Whereas you have to decide, if I move to Super Janemba, I lose the support that I am providing. This is basically 60% if you're running Corroded Body Mind, which you're not, but like Uncontrollable Power and Extreme Class allies. So that's a decision you guys have to make in terms of this unit here. Again, let's look at the team in of itself. For Corroded Body of Mind, it's not very good, right? You could go Super Janemba in first position, and then you're like, okay, what do I run anything else? Right? So he might EZA pretty soon. This guy might EZA along with Birdcoo, right? So there's not much here, guys. There's not much here. So much different than and this is with the TURs as well, as you can see here. Connected Hope is way better than Corroded Body of Mind. So anyway, there you have it. I'm not gonna go over these two units. They're not all that great. So these are gonna be your sub units that you're able to capture more medals and sub EZA. And ultimately, these are the two units that you are more into in terms of the Janemba and the PAIKUHAN. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. I think these are fine. I think these are going to be, good support units. I wish they would have released this earlier. These are, again, units that are older, and they would have been fine, EZAing this like during New Year's and things of that nature. But we get them now, which is fine. But it seems like it's going to be forgotten pretty soon. So anyway, with that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video here. If you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. Keep on Dokkaning. We'll catch you next time. Later.